Hey, it's John Nemo. Welcome back to another episode of Nemo Radio. Thought it would be a great idea to hit record because I'm super frustrated and upset right now. Nothing better than just to hit record when you're all amped up and in your feelings. And this is the interesting thing because there's really a powerful business lesson wrapped up in all of this. So the personal story behind this is I'm feeling super frustrated because it's been 8 days that I've been trying to get one of the vendors I use to help me to answer some questions, to give me some customer service that I'm upset about. A situation happened in my business with this vendor and I'm feeling, and this is the key feeling, right? I'm feeling frustrated, unhappy, unimportant, ignored, not valued because they're not responding to me and they're giving me the runaround and I can't talk to a decision maker and I can't get things done. And it makes me think of a coaster I have on my desk, a drink coaster. This quote is so valuable and so important that I literally set it on my desk so that when I'm, drinking my copious amounts of caffeine, I see it every single day. And it's from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it says, your ability to handle people makes you rich. Your ability and your skill in handling other people is what makes you rich. And I don't care what type of business you're in, if you're in a career, if you work for someone, if you own your own business, whatever role you have to interact with other human beings. All business, all commerce, all services, to one degree or another, involve interacting with humans. Even if it's just online and you're putting out content and sharing things online, you're still interacting with people. You're still making them feel something. Even if it's just emails or videos or podcasts or written communications to customers or landing pages or whatever it is, you are, to a degree, handling people. And there's another great book I read that I'm actually in the middle of, and it's called How to Have Confidence in Dealing with People. It's by Les Giblin, and he nails it. He says, 4 key reminders is, he said, we're all egoists. We're all egoists. We're all ego hungry. He says, it's only when our hunger is not satisfied that we will get upset, right? Because we want a feeling of importance. That's the other key thing that Les Giblin talks about with handling people is everyone you meet wants to feel important and they want to amount to something. Everybody you meet wants approval, right? So that we can approve of ourselves. So I think about how this vendor's handling me and then how it impacts you and I with our business and our client services and our customer service and our content. And boy, it's so clear to me being in the shoes of a client. And since I run a done-for-you LinkedIn lead generation agency, it's a good idea to think about client service, right? Like we're handling people all day, and the team I have and even my approach with each client individually. And here's the thing, people want to feel important. What if someone's important, what do? You respond to them right away. I think about in my career, if my boss wanted something, that was the first thing I was going to do that day. If I got 10 emails and one was from my boss, the important person, I responded to that person first. It makes you and makes your clients feel important when you respond quickly. That tells them, oh, you matter. You're important. I'm paying attention. I'm not blowing you off. You're somebody important in my life. Just like if your kid messaged you, you're replying to your kid or your family member as opposed to a telemarketer who's not important to you. So that's the first key lesson. And that's one of the sources of frustration for me is I realize in my own self-reflection, like it's hurting my ego. There's an enormous ego in the room here and I'm feeling hurt because I'm not feeling important. And my ego is getting bruised by the fact that this vendor is blowing me off. And that's now manifesting as frustration for me as their client saying, well, I pay this much money and I thought you're all about service. And when I engage with you guys and talk to the owner and I've been through this so many times with other vendors where, you have this great connection on the sales call and everything else. And then the owner leaves, right? And then you have their team servicing you. And oftentimes the team and the way that they treat you certainly doesn't match the experience you had with the owner. And so that's one key thing I'm learning is, it just being reminded of in this situation of, yes, I'm feeling frustrated and mad and angry because I'm feeling hurt. Like that's how ridiculous we are as humans. And that's why you have to deal with this stuff. Like my ego's bruised. I'm hurt. I'm upset. I'm stressed. Why? Because I don't feel important. I don't feel approved. I don't feel like I matter. And how dumb is this? And the key now, it's dumb in the sense of I'm behaving, you could very much argue I'm behaving irrationally and immaturely and everything else, but it doesn't matter. I'm in my feelings. And that's the reality of when you deal with other people. And that's why I have that coaster on my desk that says your ability to handle people is what makes you rich. We talk about this all the time in sales. People buy based on emotion, they buy based on how it makes them feel. It's no different in customer service. It's no different in working with someone every single day, servicing a client. They rate the experience on how they feel. Do they feel valued? Do they feel important? Do they feel like they're listened to? Do they feel validated? That's the other probably pain point I'm having with this vendor is I don't feel like they're validating my concerns. If anything, they're ignoring or invalidating my concerns, or worse, blaming me. And so I'm feeling as the client like, well, wait a minute, I'm paying you to solve this problem. You're either ignoring me or throwing it back at me that it's somehow my fault. Well, what am I paying you for? Right. So that's the idea, again, of how to handle people and understand that the other key thing with this, the other key business lesson is you have to validate how people are feeling. And that's a big lesson I learned in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you see it again and again in different places, but validate the other person. Just say, I understand you're feeling super upset. I would be too. Frankly, if somebody ignored me for 8 days on what I felt like was a very important issue, I would be irate. So kudos to you for like not coming over there and strangling me. Like you can use humor, right, to deflect it. And the other big lesson that I would give to this vendor and that I try to use in my own experience with an upset or angry client is fall on the sword. Like say all the nasty things about yourself first that you know the upset client or prospect is thinking. And what it does is it diffuses everything. It doesn't give them anywhere to go. So, what I'll do is I'll say like, look, I know you're disappointed. I would be too. And then if there's legitimate things that I've done wrong, I'll just own them and admit them. Fun. Here's a real life example. One of the contractors on our team didn't get paid. And so we ran payroll and I approve all the payroll. And then this person emailed a couple days later and was like, hey, I didn't get paid or whatever. I'm like, that's really weird. Just let me know if you don't see it, and then 3, 4, 5 days went by and they emailed again. We're like, I still didn't get paid. What's going on? So I was like, immediately I wanted them to feel important. So I responded to their email right away, right? Immediately within a minute of seeing it come in. Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm going to look into this ASAP. I look into it and I go into our accounting program and everything at Nemo Media Group. And I'm like, oh, this was my fault. It was 100% John Nemo screwed up. I forgot to approve it, right? I have 30 different contractors and I'm, invoices are flying during pay period and I'm approving and forwarding and whatever. And I'm rushing doing 100 other things. I totally whiffed because I'm able to look at there's no lie here. Like it's me, it was my fault. So what I did was I fell on the sword and I immediately wrote this contractor back and said, hey, I just, I completely whiffed. I completely screwed up. For some reason, I didn't approve your invoice. It's 100% my fault. I'm so sorry. Here's what I'm doing to fix it. Like I immediately sent it over. We're going to run a special payroll. We're going to get you paid today. Apologies. That way, I'm not making excuses. I'm not trying to blame the other person. I'm not ignoring them. They feel important. They feel validated. Their concern was heard. They feel, approval that, hey, you matter. And this is not the level of service I want to deliver you as your, person that I'm contracting with and paying. So I'm going to make it right by doing X, Y, Z. And so that's the approach that you can take in your own business, as opposed to the one I'm sitting in the client's shoes going, man, will somebody just get back to me? Will somebody fix this? And what's really funny is the longer you let this drag out, the more, as my dad used to say, you're going to make a mountain out of a molehill. Like that was one of my dad's favorite 80s sayings. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill, And the reality is I now, as an upset client, have made a mountain. I've got Mount Everest here of like frustration with this vendor because 8 days have gone by. And every single day I've been looking at my email going, well, they haven't booked a meeting yet. Well, they haven't reached out. Well, they haven't responded. And every day I'm just adding, 10,000 feet to that mountain. And the reality is with this vendor, if they would have just responded right away and said, hey, this is what happened. Let's walk through step by step. That's the other Dale Carnegie thing you can do is say, let's take emotion out of it. Let's examine the facts. Like your concern is this, this, and this. Let's look through and go back and see where the error occurred. And then let's figure out what to do to fix it. Right. And so if they do that with me, and I can see that it was my fault that I didn't turn in something or I forgot to check a box, that lets me save face if they do it that way and say, oh, it just looks like we missed a step in the process. You didn't check that box. That's why you got this bad outcome you're looking for. And what we can do to avoid that in the future is we'll send you a reminder about this. And listen, this time you've been a great client. We're going to cover it for you. No worries. Let's move forward. You've been awesome. Mistakes happen. Don't worry. Like, that's how you let a client save face. That's how you play the long game. That's how you win it. Now, it started and it was kind of a smaller error with this vendor. It wasn't life shattering, altering. And maybe that's why they're blowing me off. Maybe they've got bigger fish to fry. But again, I don't know that. I'm not in their business. All I know is I'm getting ignored for 8 days and I'm getting madder and madder and madder. And my ego is getting more and more bruised and I'm feeling more and more ignored and invalidated and frustrated. So now by the time they finally get to me, I'm going to have this volcanic eruption of frustration over what in their mind is a minor issue. But again, because of the time that's passed and because of the feelings involved, it's going to explode into a big thing. And so there's just so many good lessons in this. That's why I knew I had to record a video and just dive into it, because again, your ability to handle people is what's going to make you rich. At the end of the day, as much as we love tools and technology and systems and strategies, you're still selling to human beings. You're still servicing human beings. Whatever your product is, whatever you do, however you promote it online, you're still dealing with real humans. So make sure you take that to heart. Great resources, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. The Les Giblin book is fantastic too, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. There's so many. And what I love about these books is they're 50, 60, 70 years old, and they're just as relevant today because, news alert, people don't go out of style. People don't change, right? So this is the same way cave people probably resolve their disputes over dinosaur bones. You know what I mean? Like, I ordered this, so anyway, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you. And if you're enjoying the Nemo radio podcast, leave a message, leave a comment, subscribe, share it with a friend, all that good stuff. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon on another episode.